I was making this video, something strange happened. Most of you know one of our longtime friends passed away about a week ago. So Navy and I jumped into a live stream last Sunday to honor the family's wishes with a live stream. After a while, the topic of the Tati Westbrook lawsuit came up. So as a joke, Navy tagged her in Discord and invited her in, and to our surprise, she jumped into the stream room with us. Katie had been telling us in Discord about recent issues and asking for advice. Some of you may think that's weird, but it's actually not after what happened last December. For those of you that don't know, I'll hook you up really quick. In December of 2019, another YouTuber led an attack against Katie, screaming that she struck another channel. I made a video titled Versus Mode Part 2 around December 14th, I think. It was close to that date. And I showed everybody that the strike was non-existent. It was a fake email with spelling errors and formatting mistakes, with Social Blade data to back it up also. After December, things moved on as normal. So back to this suicide prevention stream, Katie had been claiming that she was being accused of many things that she didn't do. I handled it like any claim. I was asking the audience to tell Katie what she did wrong so she could answer to the criticism and explain, and I kind of wanted to watch to see what happened. I felt that this would help the people mad at Katie finally get a chance to confront her, but allow Katie to sort through what was true and what was false, and that might help the other side too. It didn't go that well, though. When my live chat blew up as more people flooded in, Katie was getting upset by all the negative things said in the chat. I'll come back to that later. Eventually, another YouTuber named Charlie Gold asked to join the stream. And when Charlie came in, I felt like she had really good criticisms, like great criticisms of Katie. But I did notice that Katie seemed to brush off some of the critiques. After the stream, I had to go into my channel settings and unblock a bunch of people that Katie was kicking, which I didn't appreciate. Some of you remember I had to take Katie's wrench from my channel months ago when she did the same thing. I could tell that this lawsuit had a lot of people angry at Katie, but regardless of whatever else is happening on the platform, Katie presented herself as willing to listen to the issues people had. And until she showed that she couldn't handle the criticism, I was willing to try and bring her critiques and give her advice, just like I did almost a year ago. I have mediated a lot of different YouTube battles, and I've documented way more. After the stream ended, though, the next day, in Discord, Katie had come in upset over people giving her hell over something that happened in a live stream of hers from about 2 months ago. I'll try to present her argument, and she made this argument to several creators, not just me, so there were several listening. She said that in a live stream, she was accused of calling a little girl a brat, but that she didn't call the girl a brat. I asked for proof of it, a link to the original video, and I watched the video. I found the part of the video where this happened, and I noticed that she was reading from the live chat. So I spent a good amount of time talking to Katie and asking her why she thought she was being blamed for doing this. And from what I can figure out, here's the breakdown. She read this statement from her live chat, and I'll put it on the screen. Quote, "Was she just being a brat and wanted to stay with dad?" Then she gave her response to what that person said. Her side was that she read it out loud like any live streamer would do, read the comment out loud, and then gave her thoughts on the person's comment. I watched the whole video, taking into account exactly what she was saying, but purposely didn't look into the backstory of the case, because as most of you know, I don't talk about those kind of stories on my channel. I'd already told her that I wouldn't be willing to talk about the story at all, the story of the little girl, because no matter what, in those kind of stories, I support the child being believed. I know that some stories are complicated, and I'm still not giving any opinion on the actual story. I'm just trying to make it perfectly clear I do understand the basic sides and claims of the story. I feel that these kind of stories have to be handled with the most care, and that's why I chose to talk about other things on my channel. That's why I don't talk about those kind of stories. I will handle her live stream about that in just a little bit in this video. Now that I have that out of the way, though, you could say I was presented the issue of believing whether Katie stated that the kid was a brat, or the issue of her reading it from a chat and responding. So in between the suicide prevention stream And now I responded to Creepshow's video, and I'll actually handle that later in the video too. And throughout the evening, Katie kept jumping in my Discord server. She was listening to me talk to other creators, moderators, and viewers. I was making a video at that time. This video, actually. She seemed to change the subject a lot. Like she couldn't focus on what we were trying to do. And she seemed to try and take the conversation away from the point at hand. So I started jumping out of the Discord server to work on this video. Only jumping back in Discord if I needed something from the people there. At one point later on, Katie stopped me and asked me if I thought she should make a video. Now, as much as you're going to think that this doesn't matter, you need to hear me out. I feel like it will help this response as it goes on, okay? I told her that if it was me, I would do a video. I would break down anything I disagreed with, keep it short, to the point, and respond. But that was not giving her any advice or telling her to do that, because I still thought that she should try and focus on her issues. Worry about the other criticisms that she received lately. Like if it was me, I would have to take a lot of time to process all those criticisms if I was really listening to them, right? Some of them were exactly what Charlie said. Avoid social media, take time to do any video, stop responding only when absolutely necessary. But a few hours later, while I'm still getting my video finished, she puts a link into my server and asks people to watch this video and give her advice. I was in a hurry. I didn't watch the video, I just clicked it. So I just jumped back out and kept working on this video. Eventually, I rendered the video and I went to bed. When I woke up, my girlfriend told me that Katie had released the video, then said some things on social media, argued with people, and then already deleted it and disabled her Twitter. I was pretty shocked, to be honest. I wasn't shocked because she did this. I was shocked because she had just told Charlie she understood the criticism and told me that she understood my advice and that she was going to listen and do everything in her power to avoid doing those kind of things. It was the fact that it happened like a few hours later or like a day later. It was very obvious that she didn't mean anything she said the night before, because it only took a day for her to go against her previous statements. So I decided to tell Katie that I would have to keep her out of my Discord server while I finished my videos on this situation. Because it wasn't fair that I try to give advice, process additional pieces of the story, and as I'm trying to put out a criticism video on her, these things are happening. She had told me that she was fine with me criticizing her. She convinced me that she would listen to the criticism and that she would take the advice. So I took away her mod wrench and I started ironing down this video. So now that you know what happened, I'm going to start the video. After I give a few more criticisms on the last few days. 1. Banning people in my live chat is wrong. Those were viewers. They are only saying those things because you are on my channel, and it added additional work for me to have to go in and unblock them. But even worse, they wouldn't have said anything like that if you weren't there, so it's just messed up. 2. Deleting any video or tweet can be avoided by putting a little more time into the video and thinking before you tweet. That'll stop you from having to delete these things. 3. I have issues with the video that she uploaded. I'll get into that in just a little bit. And 4, doing a lot of these things showed me that Katie didn't take what Charlie said to her seriously, and that's a major problem, considering I haven't seen one person who said that they disagreed with Charlie. This happening has caused me to add more to this video before releasing it, and it caused me to cut off contact with Katie while I do these next few videos. It's also caused more problems without fixing any, and the video was supposed to handle some issue, and it failed to do that. Now, we can get started. Angelica Oles is a YouTuber who's been criticizing Katie ever since she had a run-in with her X amount of months ago. But Angela got struck by Katie. Now, Angelica didn't show the source for the blog, and Angelica didn't show anything about like Katie's name or anything to source the video. When that happens between us and other YouTubers, you have the option of filing a copy strike. My issue is that I disagree with Katie for filing the copyright strike on Angelica. I agree with Angelica's side that if you have an issue like that with another creator, unless it's very blatant, you got to follow fair use. You have to study it, read it, and try to understand it so that you respect other people's rights for fair use. I do think that Angelica should have maybe been written to with an email, time given to Angelica to put a link to it in the About section or pin a comment. And even then, I don't think that the punishment fits the bill. Now, Katie disagrees with me on that. She's told me she disagrees with me there. I've told her I understand why. But I still want to make that apparently clear because that shouldn't happen. Getting a false copyright strike on your channel or a copyright strike at all is a really hard thing to deal with, and it affects our free speech and it affects the things we say. Now, I'm going to make a call forward. I just talked about free speech and respecting other people's free speech before you take actions against their channels. Just want to make sure that you know that I'm making a call forward to later in the video here. Let's bring up another criticism. But before I do, I'm going to say it one more time. I do not agree with you, Katie, for the actions you took with Angelica. I wish you would have written her, and even if she would have just gave you the middle finger, I wish you would have just let it go. There is a major claim against Katie, and it involves doxing. I've went on record many times over years on all of my channels speaking how that you should make as many attempts as you can to make sure you don't accidentally show somebody's private info. I do understand it happens sometimes. Why do I say this? Because Katie has shown private info for several people. Can't talk. For several people. Katie has shown private info for several people, like an email. I believe she showed a phone number. Now, in those situations, she took it down and apologized, but it happened multiple times. Now, before I criticize Katie on that, I'm going to find out how many times it's happened, which I know it's multiple, and I want to find out the circumstances behind it. But I will go as far as speaking now to say that I hope in the future Katie listens to the criticism people are giving her on doxing people. That she takes a second before going forward and putting out anything to look at it from top to bottom and just make that attempt so that she secures somebody else's privacy. Because there are a lot of YouTubers out there who do not care about other people's privacy. They think that if they get into a commentary war or a response issue with the other YouTuber, if they have a problem, that they can try to use their location, their family, and other things against them. It is my opinion that if a YouTuber does that, we should not give them any respect after that. It's one of the most messed up things you can do, and I'll go ahead and back up my criticism. If you really are arguing with somebody over a point, then you shouldn't have to lie. You shouldn't have to attack where they are, anything about their family. It should be over that point. And if you talking about that point requires you to show that information, then I think on these networks, due to the state of our world and everything else, you should take those measures to blur it out and make it private. And if you do have an accident, you are doing something wrong, and you must take drastic measures to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's my opinion. And it is a direct criticism, subject to update once I find out more, because I don't think there's much of a way my criticism will be lesser than what I said. But there may be reasons for me to increase the criticism or even do a whole video. So that could come if those things are warranted. Next criticism. I mentioned a call forward. This is another call forward, but it's not from my first call forward. Actually, I brought up, you remember I went live and out of nowhere, I was doing a suicide prevention stream. I did that because one of my friends committed suicide recently, and his family sent an email. That email asked us if we could spread the knowledge of what people can do to get help when they have those problems. So that's why we did that stream. I didn't know that Katie Joy Paulson was going to jump into that stream, though I didn't mind. So what I started to do was I had been hearing about the issues that are going on, not studying them deeply or anything like that, the recent ones, but I'd been hearing about them, and I hoped that Katie could actually explain to the live chat some of those reasons. I didn't know that bigger YouTubers were going to share that stream on my live channel. I didn't know that people were going to jump in the chat and it was going to be as crazy as it was. But you remember a YouTuber named Charlie Gold. I'll try to remember to put a picture of Charlie's channel up, because Charlie came in that night and said some really awesome stuff. And basically gave it to Katie, and exactly as Katie needed to hear it, because Charlie just did so good. Charlie didn't have to jump in like she did, and she was like very professional, and I just appreciate that with other YouTubers, so I'm gonna attempt to put that up now.
I feel like Katie understands me now. You can't control how people criticize you, and you shouldn't try to control that. The more you try to control it, the worse it's going to get for you. Yes. And the thing with Katie is I realize she will respond to everything. She doesn't pick and choose battles whatsoever. Yeah. And personally, because she responds to everything, she's the best target for a troll. But because she's the best target for a troll, she's not listening to the valid criticism. You're not always going to like the delivery of the criticism.
Yeah, no.
But you're not always going to like the delivery of the criticism. However, there are certain criticisms of you that I believe is valid. So I disagree with that. What are you talking to her about if you don't even watch anything she said about you or anything like that? What is it that you're talking to her about? If she doesn't want to speak to you, if she doesn't want to respond to you, she can do that. And she can make a video about you every day for the rest of this year. And she has every right to do that. But and if you want to respond every day for the rest of this year, you can do that. Okay, it's just earlier you mentioned something about, dictating something. And then I had wrote in the chat, why do you feel you can dictate how they criticize you with the amount they criticize you? You can't dictate that. And the more you try to dictate that, which is what I hear a lot of the time, you're making things harder on you.
I know that Katie's being sued over defamation, and I agree that if somebody is lying about you and purposely trying to damage your brand or your job or your work, that they should be able to take legal matters to protect themselves. It's their right, and I think they should be able to. Though, I think that it's such a serious step that I hope it's reserved for the most severe situations. From what the other side says, which is Tati's side, it is. So, I'm willing to give them that claim. But from Katie's side, it isn't, and I'm willing to give her that claim and watch as this plays out. I do what I do now by choice, where I live stream, I make some comedy and fun videos and stuff. It's kind of like I left behind commentating and breaking down these types of stories to try to do more stuff that I felt was fun. And yeah, I don't get as many views in doing it and everything, but I think it just, in the climate we're in, it makes me happier just to do that stuff. I'm willing to kind of put my commentary glasses back on. I don't know, I'm so fucking stupid, dude. To put my commentary lenses on here and actually start uploading commentary again, but it's going to take away from my time live streaming. I'm just making sure you all know it. I'm going to try to throw out as many live streams as I can while I commentate.
I ain't no fool. I ain't no fool. So what do you mean this?
Do anything wrong in filing a restraining order against a certain YouTuber. And
I didn't talk about that, did I? Did I talk about that in my video? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I literally did not talk about that in the video.
Again, this is only a fraction of what she has done. I didn't cover her filing a restraining order against another YouTuber simply because he talked about his experience with her. I didn't talk about how she falsely accused him of sexual harassment. I didn't talk about how she doxed multiple people to...
There you go. Creepshow did say it. The thing I was reading to her from my notes that I wanted to correct in my live stream, Creepshow said it in her video.